If you are a parent, if you are involved in schools, an educator, a therapist, and you are concerned about online harm that's occurring to children, listen up. I'm going to give you important advice and tools that you can use to stop this immediately. We live in an age where the online behavior, the conduct of kids is becoming serious. It's having serious emotional and even physical consequences for kids. You know, the mob jumps on to a child. They start attacking them, repetitive online statements. There is a way that we can stop this immediately. And this message here is a public service to alert schools, administrators, parents to how you can stop this immediately. It's the Cyberstalking Injunction that's written into law in the state of Florida. I'm going to give you a toolbox here to outline what those elements are. But the reality is this is self-help. This is not something where you need to hire a lawyer. In every single courthouse in the state, there are volunteers or paid employees that are standing by that are right there, ready, willing, and able to provide immediate assistance to give your child the help that you need, that you must provide for your child to make this stop immediately. I'm going to drop into this video here a link that will give you the toolbox. But the reality is there are online forms here that if you are experiencing any kind of online harm to your child, I want you to read it very carefully. The elements are simple. If your child has become the target of a series of attacks by anyone, in many cases we know exactly who it is. The online mob identifies themselves. They're very bold. They're very direct about why they're attacking your child. And in many cases, parents can seem helpless. What do I do? I've gone to the parents, asked them to stop. It just made it worse for my kid. I went to the school and asked them to stop. And it just made it worse for my kid. Well, kids and individuals and parents, I promise you that if you take this step of executing on the cyberstalking injunction and you get this behavior in front of a judge, that judge will drag those kids into the courtroom immediately. That judge will drag their parents into the courtroom immediately. Hell, I could see a circumstance in which the judge will show up at school because it would be more convenient that way and execute the terms of the cyberstalking injunction against the individuals that are perpetrating this. But the reality is this. We can no longer have in this state any more of these examples that we've seen far too often of kids that are subjected to self-harm because of what was happening online. These online bullies, the stalking, the intense pressure that they're suffering. The reality is this. Even if it doesn't rise to the level that your kid is expressing to you, the pain that they're suffering from, when they become the subject of these campaigns of online harm, harm is being done to them. It's up to you as parents. It's up to educators. It's up to anybody that's involved in protecting children to understand what cyberstalking is and what that cyberstalking injunction does. The very real protection that it can provide for a child immediately. Let's kind of walk through it. You download those statements that you've read on your kid's device. You print them up. You march into the courthouse on the bottom floor. There are intake specialists there that will give you the form, piece of paper. You can fill it out right there. Don't need to leave the courthouse. Attach those statements that are made. The clerk accepts it, kerchunk. Now you got a formal case. They will literally walk upstairs and hand it to the judge. I've been in courtrooms all across this state, and you're in the middle of something serious, something that's important, and the judge will say, I got to take a break. I got one of these things. Judge flips through the injunction paperwork. If it crosses the threshold, if it meets the standard, then boom, the judge signs that order right there on the spot. Gets in the hands of a sheriff. That sheriff is immediately going to go and find where that parent is at work. And I promise you that even if that parent of these perpetrators, this gang, has disregarded what had been happening previously, when that sheriff shows up at that parent's place of employment or at that parent's home or at school when they're picking that kid up and there's an injunction from a sheriff and that's being delivered to that parent for that child, that campaign of cyberstalking, that campaign of threats and bullying and online conduct is going to stop immediately, certainly for that kid whose parent just got served, but all the other ancillary kids that are involved, I promise you it's going to stop for them as well. So take a look at the tools that we have here in this link. Go to defamationfirm.com, where we do a lot more explaining about what defamation, cyberstalking is. Share this video. Tuck it away if you're an educator, if you're an administrator. I think that if you're an administrator, school personnel, and you are becoming aware of these kind of things, you have a duty, an obligation to provide the information to the parent of the victim. You got a duty and obligation to provide that to your own child victim so that they can bring it home and share it with mom or dad. I'm happy to consult with anybody for free on these issues. I care about it. I don't want to see a kid be a victim of this. And important to understand that this information, this is free. That's in every single courthouse. Largely what I'd be doing in a consult like that is directing a parent of the victim to march down to their courthouse, meet with any of those intake supervisors or specialists, and do what you can as a parent, what you must as a parent to protect your own child.